Hello and welcome to Growin Up Gaming. On today's episode, we are doing a mixture of first five as well as a review for Sea of Stars. So, our good friend, the one and only Mr. Eric, has played a little bit more than that.
Hey, gang.
But before we get to any of that, I am Mike. That is Brandon. This is Eric. Let us continue.
I love the this and that explanation.
No problem.
Great.
I had to quickly kind of just run through the gambit of you.
It did great.
Of you beautiful gentlemen. All right. So Eric, you have played Sea of Stars the most out of all of us. So I'll flip it over.
20 hours so far.
20 hours. Okay. Yeah, you are rocking.
Yeah, something like that.
So Sea of Stars, for those who do not know. Wow. Excuse me. For those who do not know, is made by Sabotage Studio. They are a fantastic studio out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. They have made other amazing games such as The Messenger and just a true, let's say, indie darling within the community. They've on YouTube, you can go and find, and I'll post in the show notes as well, but some really, really great documentaries about the making of Sea of Stars and just a true wonder to watch. And you just want to root for these guys. They're all the whole studio is really great. But
basically the Rudy of studios.
That's the Rudy of studios.
Right.
You haven't seen Rudy, educate yourself.
Okay. Actually, Brandon, I've actually never seen Rudy.
Oh my God, Mike. We were going to slap you earlier.
I know.
So we're doing a Lethal Weapon marathon finishing with Rudy.
I knew that.
Spoiler alert, Mike's getting raped at the end of Rudy.
That marathon day is like quickly ramping up to just be like 13-hour marathon.
Yeah.
Mike is going to drink so many beer socks.
So many beer socks. For those who have not listened to our Game of the Year nominees, the loser has to drink beer. What is it? A pumpkin spice
beer,
a tall can
out of
a sock.
Yeah, so we'll see how that
Spoiler, it's going to be Mike.
Hi-Fi Rush, baby. All right, either way,
buddy.
Back to Sea of Stars. So basically, the premise rundown, it is kind of a
turn-based strategy.
Yep, in the lines of Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, it's definitely JRPG. It's definitely Chrono Trigger vibes. It's story-driven more than anything. I guess let's get to it.
Yeah.
You can see if you're watching the video.
Tell us what your pinky tastes like.
So we have two. Oh, like a beer run through a stock.
Through the next
We've got our two main characters that you can choose who you play as. I mean, you can switch back and forth. It doesn't really matter. It all does the same thing. And the dialogue in the game doesn't change. It just depends on who you want to main your campaign. And those two main characters are Valere and Zale. They are...
Yo, Valere can get it, though.
Eric, who'd you pick?
That blue hair.
Who'd you pick?
I'm Zale. Zale.
I went Valere.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Well, I Googled it because I wanted to know. I'm like, well, is there like, what was that game? The Assassin's Creed game where you could either be the guy or...
No. Odyssey.
There's a bunch of it. Syndicate you could change as well. Odyssey.
Right. Yeah. But Odyssey, I think, was the big one where you should be Cassandra.
Yeah.
Right. And so I Googled that. I'm like, well, who's the correct choice to get the better dialogue, whatever?
Yeah.
Cassandra's the correct way to go.
Absolutely.
With this game, it has absolutely no bearing. There are slight dialogue differences, but it doesn't change any of the way the game plays. So Zale and Valere are solstice warriors. They're born on the solstice, and they are born with special powers. So they grow up, being born with these powers, they're sent to a village called Moon Cradle. And they grow up there learning how to be warriors who are supposed to fight the evils created by this alchemist from ages ago called the Fleshmancer. So
name of brand is like,
oh my God, Jesus.
I know.
Honestly, it sounds like the uncut versions of Bill Cosby's Sex Tape. Like, it's just
literally the uncut. So fleshy.
So fleshy.
So much jello.
So they're training to fight the last of the Fleshmancer's creations called Dwellers. There's one Dweller left in the whole world, and on an eclipse, they have the solstice warriors have the ability to actually attack it and kill it. So that's the quest that they're sent on. They're joined by their what do they call him? Warrior Cook. Their buddy Garl, who is
The
he's
goat.
such a lovable character, and honestly, he kind of brings a nice, fun fluidity to the story.
How
He
does
kind
he
of
stack
gives
up to Gale?
uh he beats Gale. He
What? You
Garl is
asked
the
your
reason.
fucking
Oh,
mouth. Gale is
Garl is
a
the
saint.
reason that everybody in this game wants to talk to your party, why everybody comes to you guys for help. Like, he really is the glue of the Solstice Warriors and the world that they interact with.
Brandon,
Buddy.
Garl is a gem.
Brandon,
I'm gonna
Garl.
play Sea of Stars next, and if Gale dwarfs him in any way, I want to see a sock beer from
Brandon.
you as well.
Brandon, Garl loses his eye for the team, and like he's like cool about it. He's like, "It's okay, guys,
Yeah.
as long as you're okay."
You
like,
all right?
It's just an eye. It's like, oh my god, Garl, relax.
Yeah.
So
Garl is
Gale
a
was
gem.
willing to blow himself up. Totally, whole body, no questions.
Gale's a
All
little
right.
bitch.
Different talk. Sea of Stars. Sorry. Continue, my brother.
I don't want to get too far into spoiling any of the story, because that's what this game is really based on. Like, it is a story driven game, and the story, I'm only 20 hours in, and it seems like there's much more to come, but the story is so rich, and there's so much happening constantly. It's I don't want to give any more away than what I already have. Like, you have the quest. Let's see. It's so, like I said, it's a turn-based strategy for the most part, but they've made it a bit more refreshing than your average, just turns. They've added an interactive aspect to the combat where you can, it depends on, like, if you're using the abilities of Zale, it's kind of bland. There's really not too much that you're doing, at least where I am, the skills that I have. But you hold the X button down to power up his move, and if you release it at the right time, you get bonus damage. With Valere, you have to bounce your attack back. So when your crescent blade comes back to you, you bounce it back, and you can do that multiple times. You can do it kind of forever until you miss a bounce, and it stacks damage. So rather than just being turn-based, there's that interactiveness to it, which keeps it a little bit fresher. They've added something called locks, I believe, where you can cancel an opponent's attack if you break all their locks by using the correct abilities or attack types to smash their lock. They've done the turn-based strategy in a more than typical Final Fantasy way, where it's your turn, let's do some damage. Your turn, do some damage. Oh, it's the enemy's turn now.
Yeah.
They're gonna hit you. Like, they've really broken it down and made it fun. The music's good, just like your classic JRPG of old. Redundant, repetitive, sure, but it's fun. It's pleasant. There's nothing I'd complain about with that. Like we're talking about with Garl, the characters are amazing. The dialogue is hilarious. Everybody you run into has something unique and fun to say, and all of the characters that you interact with regularly, consistently, who become a part of the story, are all just great. Like, you want to see more from each of them.
Brandon, or sorry, Eric, to jump in there for the actual
Yeah.
music itself. So the game did have a guest composer, which is Yasunori Mitsuda, and
Mhm.
Mr. Yasunori is the composer of Chrono Trigger. So yeah, so
Ooh.
See, that doesn't surprise me.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
definitely hear like that Chrono Trigger style, but honestly,
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the Sea of Stars official soundtrack. Like, the OST of this game is
Oh, yeah.
a great one, and yeah, like they brought him in as a composer and just someone else to help with the game, and especially with it taking so many cues from that style of Chrono Trigger, and like just the way it
Right.
looks, the way it feels, the way it plays. It's like it's super cool that they managed to get him in.
And it's not like he failed at that task either. He did a great job. Like, the music it's so fun and nice and vibrant the whole time. Like, it's well put together score.
Yeah.
So, like, it matches the story well, right? Like, it keeps you flowing at a good pace, and it brings the whole thing together. Like, each different world area has its own music. certain fights have different music, just like you'd expect with typical JRPGs and turn-based combat games. But it's no, it he did a really good job with the music.
Eric, can I ask?
Uh,
Sorry, can I ask
yeah.
from the RPG mechanics side of it all? Because the one thing I
Mhm.
definitely noticed when I was playing it is I don't know how much of a difference like your gameplay would have been from mine regarding even like the equipable items and things like that. Like, did
Right.
you now that you're much further than I am, but do you find that the item like do you spend a lot of time within menus, or are the items that you're collecting of kind of relevance in that sense of a typical RPG?
Um, I wouldn't say as much so. Like maybe later on in the game, as you like, there have been hints to certain areas that you'll progress to within the game that I haven't even seen yet. So I think there's a lot more to the game than what I've experienced. But I don't think equipment is ever really going to be a constantly fluctuating thing. I think it's, oh, you get better swords, you equip those better swords until you get the next better swords.
Yeah, yeah.
There are different items, like I think there are, you get 2 rings and an amulet for each character, and depending on the fight or situation you're going to get yourself into, you might want to switch out your rings. Like a couple of them that I have, one gives you 15 extra HP, one gives you +4 attack damage, like things like that. So maybe you want to wear those for certain instances, or change them out for something stronger, something different, something more niche. I think the amulets are a little bit more, I don't know, things like those are the things that I can see as I get more of them, that I'm going to have a harder time deciding which ones to use.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Like
with you.
plus 10% HP for the party, plus uh like 10% attack for the party kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And when you get a bunch of those, you might have different strategies you build. But I
Nice.
think and what the game does really well with difficulty, because there are no difficulty settings, it's all just one setting. Uh, what the game does well, and what makes it, I guess, to sort of answer your question, there are these items called relics. You probably bumped into one or
Yeah,
two of them
I
by
got a
now,
couple of them. Yeah,
and it's the relics that really change the game up.
yeah,
Like it's how you can affect the difficulty. Like there are relics that give you plus 100% HP. Enemies do this much less damage to you.
yeah. You like
You
automatically.
automatically block an attack.
Yeah,
Yeah. So there are things like that that
Oh,
really
shit.
change up. So like if you're in a very difficult area, you might just add on a different relic just to help you out, to help you get past a boss,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And those are the things that would change sort of strategy more so than your equipment.
Nice. And for those who are, I guess, listening, you can also head over to youtube.com/Growin Up Gaming. On the video, we have Sea of Stars playing in the background, so you can take a look and see what the combat's like, what the menus are like, and everything along those lines.
Oh, get a little bit of character spoilers over here.
Pew, pew.
Honestly, just watching this video is just like, holy shit.
Brandon, come
They're
closer
doing
to that
some
mic, buddy. Come closer to that microphone.
those motherfuckers are doing some shit
Yeah,
in that
yeah, and you
video.
can see right there, like this guy's got 3 of those crescents. So if you hit him with 3 crescent attacks, which you can't do unless you use Valere's Moonerang ability,
Yeah,
and you have to strategically bounce it in time so you can hit that same character 3 times. So that Moonerang has to bounce 9 times. You can break all of its shields before it gets a chance to attack you, and then it doesn't get an attack that
yeah.
turn.
It
So like,
restarts. It restarts its attack counter.
Or
Like
it just
you
yeah,
gets
type.
fucking blasted like it did in that video that we
right,
just
or
watched.
that, or that.
All right, Eric. So let's run down. Give me the good. Give me the bad. What are you feeling? I guess from like the review standpoint of this all.
The good is they don't fuck around with what makes these classic JRPGs good and fun. They give you great story, great music, great gameplay. It's all just, it's everything you want from this kind of game. There's enough to collect and see and do and just kind of get around with, that you're getting everything out of this game that you want out of it. I'd say as far as the bad though, I guess bad is kind of
Yeah.
personal opinion.
Yeah.
The game is very linear.
Okay.
Again, at least from where I am, 20 hours in, it seems very linear. Like they'll open up a chunk of the map to you, and you can go and freely explore this. But you get to an area that the quest isn't directing you to,
Yeah.
and you get there, and can't do anything. You can't move forward. So you can't really explore too far until the story brings you to that area.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I felt the same way for what it's worth.
yeah, yeah. And
Which, Mike, if you want to
you,
play a non-linear Baldur's Gate,
I was gonna say, well,
oh, buddy.
or with talking about linear, they Spider-Man 2'd it, Brandon.
You know what? Actually, coming
Spider-Man
from
2 is
Baldur's
the
Gate,
illusion that you have choice.
coming from Baldur's Gate to Sea of Stars, the linearness is actually kind of refreshing. So it's
Yeah.
not too much of a gripe right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
Going from like say Spider-Man to Sea of Stars, like okay, but like where's my freedom?
Yeah.
Which in the old Final Fantasy games, like there were some areas where you'd get into fights with secret bosses and stuff if you kind of went off the beaten trail, right? And that's it kind of leads into another thing about this game that I'm not really liking is that the secret areas aren't very secret. Like Mike, I'm sure you've seen like you'll see like a chest or something that's kind of like tucked away and it's always easy to get to.
Yeah.
Or like you go to a waterfall and you can't really go under the waterfall, but then you kind of peek around a corner and you're like, oh, but there's a path over there that's not very hidden, but it's supposed to be hidden, and then there's a chest. So it's you're not really rewarded for exploring because everything is out in the open for you as long as you have your eyes on the screen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Which for a JRPG, especially one like this, I would expect more secret, sneaky stuff that you really have to just like. I like to play these games and walk around tight to every wall to make sure I don't miss anything, right?
Yeah.
Pressing X constantly while I'm walking around, like, can I open this tree stump? Can I do this? Can I do that?
Absolutely.
Nah, you'll see the chest if there's a chest there.
Yeah, like
Don't worry about it.
You know, like remember back in the day, like the old schoolyard stories of like, yo, if you go to the
Yeah.
SSN and if you like spin
Right.
around 3 times and then press
Right.
it, there's a Mew hiding there. Like, you know what I mean? Like we need some
Yeah.
some
That was the rare candy treat, bro.
Let's go, buddy. Now the only rare candies Brandon knows is out of the van. I digress. Eric, continue.
Honestly, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Good job.
I
Mike.
appreciate it. I love you.
But I think we can kind of wrap it in from here because again, I don't want to go too much into this. The story is the best thing about this game.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil any of it. If you are a fan of old school RPGs and turn-based combat games, I can't tell you that the strategy aspect of the turn-based combat is particularly challenging in this game, but there is the ability to make it more difficult, or rather don't activate the relics and don't make it any easier.
Yeah.
And you really have to think about the way that you approach combat.
Yeah, I definitely
But
died a
it's-
couple times for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah. But as far as story, I don't know that we're gonna get much better than other than Baldur's Gate and
Yep.
Spider-Man. This is one of the most fun stories I've played over the last couple of years.
Nice.
That's for sure. Like for sure. And I'm only 20 hours in, but the characters keep me going, and I'm excited to pick this game up every time I get to throw an extra hour into it. Like I just want to see where it continues to go, and I can see that it's going to go somewhere really cool really soon.
Amazing. Well, with that then, Eric, your first ever Guggernaut score. What are you giving?
Oh, I would give it right now, and I think this will go up as I get more of the story, but right now I'll give it 8.2 dinosaur chicken nuggies.
Nice.
All
I
right.
can get behind
Yeah.
that. Eric, I think I would for what I've played so far, I can definitely I can fuck with the realm of 8.2 dinosaur chicken nuggets. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, have both of you played, or either of you played, Octopath Traveler 2?
Not yet. I played the demo.
I haven't played
Demo?
2 yet.
You still dipped your dick in it, man. You know what it feels like.
I wouldn't say full dick.
Not full dick?
No.
All right.
No.
That's okay. How many inches?
Like the whole thing. Like
So 2.5. So you're pretty good.
All 12 inches.
Yeah. So that's why, like, this game to me compares to Octopath Traveler 2 because it's just like kind of in the same realm. Maybe you guys have
You know what
played
else?
it. I don't know.
So I've played
you-
Octopath Traveler 1, And I would say Octopath Traveler 1 is a harder game than this.
Okay.
And like it's different though. Like
Of course.
you know what? To go to the pros of Sea of Stars over Octopath Traveler and JRPGs of the past, Sea of Stars
What's his
doesn't
biggest
really
competitor?
Sea of Stars doesn't really lock you into any particular combat for very long. Like you're never sitting
Okay.
in a fight,
Yeah.
whether it's a random fight or a boss fight, you're never really sitting in a fight for 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas Octopath Traveler, sometimes you're fucked. Like it could just be a random encounter where there are like 3 enemies and you're fighting for 10 minutes. You get 3
If you're
enemies.
shit, let's be honest.
Right. But
because I never had a fight last more than like 5 minutes.
fair.
And I
But
put 80 hours
with this
into that
game here, every boss fight I've been in has been under 5 minutes.
So the good question is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think so,
Because in a JRPG, like turn-based style fight, like some of those classic battles are 20 minutes. Where you're just like, oh, you have to counter this with this, and you have to do this with this. And it's so satisfying. So
But what this game does is it makes it so that you either are going to win that fight or you're not. Like you will know within those first 2-3 minutes whether or not you've strategized well enough to make sure that you maintain the correct amount of health to get through the boss's next couple of attacks.
That makes sense.
Right. Or you will just get fucking mucked. And look, the fight's only going to take 2 to 5 minutes, and you'll know either way within 2 to 5 minutes whether or not you're going to win that fight.
That makes
Whereas again, other JRPGs, like you'll be in that fight and it'll be stressful and tedious for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But here you're not getting that.
Nice.
You're getting just good, fast, efficient combat that doesn't get dull, doesn't get boring, makes you think, but you don't have to think too hard.
Nice.
That's huge. Okay.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable in that way. It's accessible in that way, right? You don't have to be a diehard JRPG fan who really wants to get into a tough fight to want to play this game and actually be able to enjoy it.
Yeah. Brent.
So if I remember, we got Mike's score. Did we get Eric's score?
No, Eric.
On
8.2.
Yeah, it was 8.2.
8.2 as well.
Yeah.
So you guys
we agree.
harmoniously agreed on the 8.2.
Yeah. 8.2. Eric, what kind of nugget sauce are you giving? I'm gonna give plum sauce.
Plum sauce.
Yeah. You know what? Give me like put some sriracha in that plum sauce and give it a little
I was
stir.
gonna say,
but yeah,
put some fucking spice on
Plum
that.
sriracha.
but it's plum sauce.
No, man.
But it's-
If you're talking, if you
Yeah.
put plum sauce as 8, my God, do you need to get ejected?
No. We haven't figured out what the sauces mean. We 8.2
No,
dinosaurs
dude,
chicken nuggets,
we're
that's
all
the
talking
score.
shit
Yeah.
here, right?
But like
this is all shit. But plum sauce on its own can suck a dick.
no, plum
If
sauce
that's
is
4,
great.
I know.
No,
A good
plum
plum
sauce is
sauce is a
great.
good plum sauce.
A good plum
of that
sauce is a 6. Shit
VH1
one
plum
is
sauce
4.
or whatever it's called. Oh,
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not gonna argue with that.
plum sauce
Oh,
on
6 and 4?
anything besides
Yeah.
chicken fingers is trash. I agree. But chicken fingers and plum sauce, top tier. S rank.
We're talking top 6, like 6. But you put some sriracha into that plum sauce. Oh, you could hit 8.
You know, never once in my life have I put sriracha in plum sauce. I put sriracha in
You gotta
ketchup.
start mixing sauces, Mike.
I put sriracha in ketchup. I've never put sriracha in plum sauce.
Put it in everything.
You know what, Mike? I'm not surprised.
I know, buddy. I know. I just keep disappointed. I feel like it's like the last 3
I really
episodes.
wanna
The last
say a
3
lot more.
episodes of Growin Up Gaming, I've disappointed you, Brandon.
No, you never disappoint me. I love you.
Thank you, buddy. I love you.
I will
love you too.
always lift you up from the ashes of you're a phoenix.
I know.
You will rise from the ashes of your own demise. It's okay.
All
We love you.
right, let's Brandon, Eric, both of us.
We need our positivity possum.
Thank you.
Which is my,
Yes,
which is my
that's my goal. I'm trying to move away from the mighty muskrat, and I'm trying to move over to the positive possum.
So me and
that Instagram picture you sent me.
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've been pushing B on the Game Boy to reverse the evolution, but Mike has really been trying to do the positive possum.
For
So
our,
we'll see what happens.
Let me see here.
I don't know. Mike's not a very positive guy here.
Honestly,
I
it's
sometimes
fair.
Always shooting Brandon down.
Guys, that's the positive possum.
Actually, you guys do have the same nose,
It's
so
so
that's
good. Oh, it's so good.
And ears, now that you mention it.
and the same arm definition.
Yeah, he's fucking jacked. Yo, the kid's yoked. All right, guys.
Same whiskers.
Need whisk. All right, guys. Let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap this bitch.
Eric, great review, sir. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Always a privilege. For our listeners, please tune back a couple days. We got some other good things coming down the pipeline. PlayStation Portal review. So come back and check out the review for PlayStation Portal. And then if you haven't already, go back and check out our Game of the Year watch and nominees. It's great. It was hilarious. It was an hour and a half of just pure, unadulterated.
Was it an hour and a half?
Yeah, it was an hour and a half.
An hour.
It was a long time.
That explains a
It was a
lot.
long time.
Fuck.
Yeah, we talked about
Wait,
Resident
did we
Evil.
also have our poop breaks?
No. Cut out the poop break. Cut out the poop break. All right, guys.
We left for the poop breaks?
Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, you
To
want
our
some
listeners,
deleted audio?
guys, I'm just going to keep
sitting
talking.
in it.
I'm just going to
Mike's gonna cut us off.
To our beautiful Guggernauts, thank you always for tuning in, checking us out. You can go ahead, find us at youtube.com/Growin Up Gaming, Instagram, Growin Up Gaming, and I think Twitter. Yeah, I think we're on Twitter. So give us a follow, give us a like, give us a share. If you enjoy Sea of Stars, or if you just love RPGs, give us a like, give us a share. Tell just one. That's all we're asking.
Positive possums.
One of your friends about Growin Up Gaming. Fucking beat them. I do the positive possum so hard. Tell one of your friends about Growin Up Gaming, and let's spread the positivity. All right, gentlemen, that is it for me.
Spread it like peanut butter, brother.
Thank you, Eric. Because you did the review today, let's give the send off to Brandon. Brandon, screen is yours.
Oh shit! I was gonna say give it to Eric.
All right, fine, Eric.
Good send off.
Send off is yours, my friend.
Well, I guess this is my first official send off. So, Gug Nation, thank you for tuning in. It's been a blast. Make sure to check us on all the socials, like Mike said, and let's keep this short and sweet because everything else has been really 12 inches long and hard tonight. So
that's why we call Eric the Tootsie Roll.
I can't steal it, so I got to send it to Brandon to tell you what we are thankful for.
Forward.
Thank you, Eric. Straight from the Tootsie Roll's mouth and the positive possum guidance. Thanks for stopping by.